Dear students of Standard 11 Biology, welcome back to our video class. Today we are going to start the continuation of virology. It is the classification of living world. What is actually the meaning of living world? All the living organisms present in the universe. All the living organisms means all types of plants, all types of animals, and all kinds of microorganisms. Everything together we can call as the living world. In classification, the meaning of classification is grouping. We have to make the groups of the plants. We have to divide the animals into various groups. We have to divide the microorganisms into various groups. The grouping is called the classification. So classification of living world means the living organisms must be separated into various types of groups. That is called the classification. Now we are going out anywhere. That is, we are going to a forest, or we are going to a mountain hill station, or we are going to the seashore. Wherever we go, we are finding large number of living organisms and non-living things. Okay, now, introduction about the living and non-living things around us. As I told about, we are going to a new place. It may be a hill station, or it may be a forest, or it may be the seashore, or it may be any other agricultural field. Wherever you go, we are finding so many living and non-living things. What are the non-living things present around us? We have to say. The air is the non-living factor. The soil is the non-living factor. Water is the non-living factor. And also the climatic condition. Everything is non-living factor. They don't have life. Even the temperature is not having any life. Such factors are called non-living factors. Then living organisms that we are studying from the beginning. Organisms which are having life are called living organisms like plants, all animals, and also all kinds of microorganisms are present in our surrounding. They are also present in our surrounding. They are called the living things in our surrounding. Now the living things may be living on land. They are called the terrestrial organisms. The living organisms, some are living in water. They are called the aquatic organisms. And some are living or flying in the air. They are called the aerial organisms. So, the living organisms, varieties of living organisms are present in our surrounding. Microorganisms. Many types of microorganisms are there. We cannot see them by naked eye. They are present in the soil, present in water, present in the air, everywhere. They are also present inside the body of living organisms, outside the body of living organisms. So they are all generally called living organisms. The next we are going to talk about non-living things, different factors. Just now we have studied living things, also different type of things. So when we take about living things and non-living things, this topic is only about the living things. So varieties of plants are present, varieties of animals are present, varieties of microorganisms are present. If we want to study about the plants, or if we want to study about the animals, or if we want to study about the microorganism, it is necessary to make them to become various groups. We have to group them, we have to classify them. Then only we can make our studies much easier. So the classification is very important because varieties of plants and animals are present. We need to classify the plants and the animals for easy study. So to make our studies much easier, classification or grouping is very, very important. Now we are going to see how the classification started from the historical time that we have to see. Now very long time before, very first scientist called Theophrastus, maybe 250 years before, one scientist was there, Theophrastus. He was considered as the father of botany. We know very well what is the meaning of botany. Botany is the study of plants. So, he was considered as the father of botany. Now, he classified the plants, as herbs, shrubs and trees. Now, the classification is based on the size of the plant. If the plants are very, very short, maybe about growing up to 1 foot height, maybe a few centimeters to 1 foot height, those plants are called herbs. If some plants are growing about 6 or 7 feet high and they are giving bushy appearance, then those plants are called shrubs. But there are certain plants which are very tall. maybe 10 feet, 11 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet like that, they are called trees. So based on the height, the classification was made. But this classification at the beginning it was alright, but later on when the development was there, when advancement was there, this type of classification was not at all accepted. So it is an ancient classification. Now at present we are going for scientific method of classification. So this was there, this classification was there for some period of time, but later on it was not accepted scientifically. But now also we are using herbs, shrubs and trees. Whenever we see the plant, we can say it is a tree. Whenever we see another plant, it is a shrub, we are telling. So now even now we are using, but it is not the major method of classification. Similarly, another one scientist called Aristotle, ancient scientist, he classified the animals, not plants. Theophrastus classified only the plants. Aristotle classified the animals. On what basis he classified the animals? We have to see. One group of animals called anemia. Anemia. Now anemia means animals with red blood. Whenever we cut the body of the animal, the red color fluid is coming out. It is called the red blood. We know very well. It is present in the circulatory system of animals. So the animals with red blood are kept under one group called anemia. The second group is called anemia. Anemia, but I is silent. Anemia. What is the meaning of anemia? Animals without red blood. Whenever we cut the animal's body, some colorless fluid is coming out, but not red color fluid. That means it is a blood without red in color. Such type of animals are kept under anemia. So, two groups of animals, anemia, anemia. So, two groups. But this also we are not accepting now because so many animals are there whose body is not at all having any blood. So, when these animals are coming in, so this was there in practice in olden days, but in modern classification, we are not accepting this animal with the red blood, animals without red blood. So this was also olden classification, but modern classification has come up now. Now the need of classification means the need of modern classification, scientific classification. Why we have to classify them? Already in the introduction I told it is for easy study. Yes, it is easy study with more details. Now the first point we take to relate the things based on common characteristic features. There are certain animals and also there are certain plants. They may have some common characters. For example, human beings, we are having a pair of hands and legs. So 4 limbs we have. Similarly, some other animals are also having 4 limbs. They are all kept under one major group. Some animals are there without having any proper head. They are kept under one group. Now some animals are having few cells in the body. They are kept under one group. There are certain animals which are having more number of cells in the body. So that is called the characteristic features. So based on the characteristic features, we are relating the living organism. Things means living things. That is the first one. So we can compare whether this group is and that group. What are the differences? What are the similarities? That is called to relate the living organisms based on common characteristic features. Number 2, to define the organisms based on the salient features. Now we have to say what is salient? Very, very important features. Special features. Very, very special features will be there. For example, birds if you take, they have a pair of wings. They have beaks, but other organisms are not having. That is called a salient feature. Presence of wings is a specific characteristic feature for the bird. Like that. Salient features. So define the organism based on the salient features. Like that every group is having some special features. Third point, help in knowing the relationship amongst different groups of organisms. For example, we are finding birds, but varieties of birds are there. Crows are there. Then eagles are there. Then pigeons are there. Different type of birds are there. Now different groups are there, but they have some relationship. What are the common characters of them? Presence of being. For a formed group of organisms we can call as ancestors. The new group of organisms which is evolving from the ancestors we can call as species, new species. Now that is called evolutionary relationship. So this evolutionary relationship also we can study when we classify. For example, we can take in 11th standard we might have studied class Mammalia. Okay, and before that, the Mammalia came from class Reptilia. The Reptilia came from class Fish. That is Amphibia. Amphibians came from class Fishes. Now, this is the evolutionary sequence, evolutionary relationship.